Hey, this is Kevin Carr, CEO of Pro to CEO. Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I want to talk to you about why a career coach is worth the spin. Look, I've been very fortunate in my career. When I first started out, I had to grow where I was planted, and I took a position that I believed would lead me to a great career. I chose the career path over money, meaning I didn't start out with a lot. It was very minimal, but I believed in this path, and they gave me the job that pretty much was the beginning, bottom of my start of my career, and then I worked my way up in that position, and then I switched professions and worked for a private nonprofit, thinking I'd like the business world better than the college athletics world. And then I found out I didn't. But I still moved up. When I transitioned back into college sports, I took a bigger role. So my career kept going up. And then I like to think I got the draft call of all drafts. The NBA called me to help them start their development league. And I moved into that position and then moved up again as a vice president at the NBA. So let me stop there, because it would seem like I was going in a really good space. But when I got to a challenging point in my career, I had to make a decision how to get unstuck. So my first tip for you is don't be afraid to ask for help. I took you through a couple levels of my career. When I got to the NBA, you would think, man, NBA, amazing environment, amazing culture, all the things you would want in a professional career track. I was on my way up as it would appear to be, but when I got there, it was a little overwhelming. I had been working in schools in the South and the Midwest. I had never worked in the Northeast, so it was a bit of a culture shock. And then New York City itself, very big. I was working on Fifth Avenue, and then I was working in a very high-paced environment. People from some of the best, I would say, sports leagues, some of the best schools in the nation, and they were ultra competitive, very fast-paced, very a dominating environment. You could be dominated very quickly if you didn't know how to make moves. And here I was, the first time at a big time company. I wanted to be a rock star. I had the Superman on my chest. And then I felt like I was in a part of the business that wasn't thriving. So everything we were doing wasn't going well. It started to affect me. And I would say, I got to do something to change this. So my first tip to you is ask for help. I asked for help. I went to my HR specialist, said, hey, can I get some career coaching? I think I need that because I'm not thriving like I want to. So look, there's help everywhere. Whether or not you decide to open your mouth and ask for it is up to you. I'm coaching you now. Ask for help. Go to good resources. Go to trusted people. If you have someone in your tight circle, ask them, see what they say. But I went to a very common place in most workplaces, someone in HR. I knew that because I have an HR master's degree, and I knew high-paced environments, professional environments like the NBA and other places, very corporate-like companies, have major departments in HR that specialize in optimizing the performance of their employees. So I went, they gave me a recommendation, and I went through it and I thought it was fine. But guess what? I didn't think it was the right fit for me, and I kept asking for help, and they gave me someone else. I didn't feel like it was the right person. And my second tip is do some research to find the right fit for you. Do some research to find the right fit. After they gave it to me a couple times, I asked and found the right person by doing and researching and feeling like I didn't have the right fit. So I just kept asking, and I went out and did some research on one person they gave me, and I think this person could be the fit for me. I thought that, and guess what? Lo and behold, this person was. So I reach out to them, see their website, I like it, like some of the reviews, some of the feedback, and I call them, and we have a great first meeting. I'm like, wow, this is great. It was a call. I Actually, it was, someone I talked to over the phone, and we had what I would say innovative relationship at that time, meaning everything was done through technology, phone calls, emails, reports back and forth on my progress, etc. Would give me sort of like a report on me. They're evaluating me. So I was able to dig into a lot of the things that they were giving me. And the third thing I'll give you is do the work. Do the work. If you have a coach and they hold you accountable, that's their job. Your job as being the coachee is to do the work that they ask you. So they would give me assignments to go out and do and research within the company of how I expect to get better. And I remember being in this tough part of the business at the MBA. It was not very popular, but I had to put my best foot forward. So I was asked to be innovative. Think about things that not only apply to your job, but other parts of the business that could help the business move in a good direction. And that's what I focused on, a part of the business that needed the help and not mostly the part of the business that had all the help. I focused on areas that were deficient, and this isn't like rocket scientist, but I'm telling you, I went in and really figured out what parts of the business were deficient and where I could stand up and shine and where my strengths were, because my coach was telling me to go to your strengths and go where areas of the business needed that strength and you could possibly come up. And lo and behold, I did. I moved from a director's role to a senior director. And then in time, our coaching relationship became stronger. And I used them for, I would say, probably about a year and a half. And I noticed I was getting a lot better, getting a lot more confident. And people around me were noticing I was getting a lot better and a lot confident. So the third thing I would say is, fourth thing is look for the results. If the results are happening, then you're going to be able to know that this is working. I have gotten promotions, I had gotten recognition, and I had gotten increased responsibilities. So I knew it was working. And what really ultimately happened is I got recognized for the work I was doing by being voted one of the top 40 under 40 by Network Journal magazine in New York City, which I thought was a very high honor to be recognized by colleagues outside of my profession, but also recognized within the profession that you were really moving your career and you were one to watch. And for me, that said it all, that I knew that the coaching had worked. I ended up, thanking, and we transitioned out of the coaching relationship. I ended up thanking him, and to this day, that was the best professional development money I think I ever spent. Besides my degrees, at the time, they were important. But at this point in time in my career, having a career coach, just like a singer has a vocalist coach, just like an athlete has a strength trainer, just like the top CEOs have coaches, I, who wasn't a top CEO, but was an executive who wanted to move up and get higher and higher, I hired a coach and I spent the money. It wasn't overly expensive, but it wasn't like cheap. So what you have to do to say yourself is, am I worth the spend? I believed I was worth it. I had come so far in my career, if I take you back like I did and brought you to it, and I got to the place I wanted to be, but I wasn't thriving. I wasn't where I wanted to be. So what did I do? Ask for help. Then I did the research and did the work. And then I looked, for the results, and the results were happening internally and externally by being recognized. So I'm saying to you, don't look at it for what it can do for you today, right then and there, because it's not going to happen that quick. That's the last tip. It's a process. It's a process and it will take time. But over that year and a half, me and my coach were lockstep, and I believed in what he was doing for me, and I began to fall in line with it, and really, I would say, fall in love with the process of it. And I stuck to it, and I started to get the results at work that I was looking for. So it allowed me to get to a vice presidency level at a very elite company and be one of four, I would say, one of four vice presidents in the entire NBA who did what I did at the time. It was a very, very high level in terms of accomplishment for me personally and professionally, and it allowed me to be at the top of my game in a profession that I wanted to be at the top. So when I think about coming up in my career, I didn't have a coach along the way, and then at that point where I felt like I really needed it, I asked for the help, did the research, listened, got the results, and I trusted the process, and the results came, and it was really something. So I'm saying to you, hiring a career coach, if you decide to do it and you decide to follow the process and you find the right one, I think that's the most important thing, finding the right one and having the resources. If you're willing to be coached, I believe it will work for you like it worked for me. So there you have it. That is it. I believe if you're going to come up like the best athletes that I've coached and the best singers and the best CEOs, they have coaches. I have coaches too. And I believe it'll help you. So that's what that's what I have for you, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Hey, tune into our other videos. They're all about climbing the corporate ladder, making a career change within a business or company you work for, or flat out leaving the company and becoming your own professional to CEO. I call them pro to CEOers. So appreciate it. Subscribe if you can, and be ready for the next videos that we have coming for your own personal and professional development. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good day, good night, or good evening wherever you are in the world. Be well and be blessed.